Ladies, gentlemen, jury of the court, it falls into your hands to protect our community and society from the defendant Lizzie Borden and her heinous, evil, violent, and downright savage acts. Chain this villain to the hell from which she spawned. The evidence is as clear as day. If I may remind the court of one bogus letter concerning an illness of a very dear friend of the unfortunate Mrs. Borden. May her soul rest in peace. This letter was given to Miss Borden as a ploy to a savage plot against her and her family. It is my duty to also remind the court that the only way the perpetrator would know the name and relationship of the Honorable Mrs. Borden and her companion is if they were entrenched in the affairs of the family. Last time I checked, one that the defendant is regrettably a part of. It would also be prudent to inform you that the family was suffering from a sickness resembling the effects of a poison. Is this a coincidence? I think not. Though I'm sure Miss Lizzie Borden would have you believe it. Shortly thereafter, Miss Borden changes her tall tale as soon as the jaws of justice start to close around her. The murderer would have had no way to escape undetected, especially not under the watch of the servant girl, who at the time of the bloody deed was cleaning the windows of the front of the home. But she would have certainly noticed a fiend escaping from the front, not to mention the ignorant passerby that would have been on the street anyway. And witness such a crime. Especially when they're decorated in the blood of their prey. Furthermore, the suspect would not be able to escape out the back door, where they would have been noticed by the neighbors and then by the passerby on almost as busy of the street as the alternative route through the front. And even if they were not detected, the fence, which they would have had to climb, shows no evidence of said scaling. Then, where could they have gone for solitude and escape? The answer is very simple. They never left the now haunted home in favor of staying and attempting to conceive the good inspectors in order to conceal their crime. The only person who would have performed this act is one Lizzie Borden, as one who was present and as such the only one who could have orchestrated the crime. Next, I call attention to the autopsies that show that Mrs. Borden was dead a full hour before her husband. This means that the suspect would have had to stay in the house for a whole hour and avoid detection from the dutiful Bridget Sullivan, a servant who was performing her mundane tasks throughout the house. This, of course, would make it a very unlikely scenario to attain such a feat of stealth, and combined with a note that young Miss Lizzie Borden claims to exist could not even be found, it is very likely that this convertness did not take place unless counted as in plain sight. I conclude that the defendant Lizzie Borden should be convicted for her undeniable guilt of her devilish crimes. I entrust you, esteemed jury, to make that correct decision in an effort to protect us and our friends and our own families from the continued psychotic efforts. Thank you.